That's the one I'm referring to. Okay, well, welcome everyone. My name is Jason Martinez. We're going to go ahead and get started here. Have quite a bit to go over today here on the final expense market, one of our markets of focus here at Summit Alliance Advantage. You know, many of you know that within the system of Summit Alliance Advantage, we have multiple ways to get in front of clients. We have, of course, multiple carriers, different ways to utilize those products and get the clients covered that we work with. But really focusing on the specific markets that we have available to us, like the final expense market. You know, we've talked a lot about why we've identified the final expense market. You know, we all know, that there's a lot of people that have a need for the coverage. We also know that final expense is a market. It's an insurance that people buy because they know that they're going to use it. Most people, and you've heard me mention this before, but term life insurance. When you get term life insurance, what do you normally get term life insurance for? Just to cover a certain debt. Exactly. Cover a certain debt for a certain period of time. Hopefully the ultimate goal is that you pay off the debt and you outlive the policy, right? So, and that's normally, people get term life insurance. And when people get whole life insurance, a lot of times they get it because they want it to be there for the rest of their life. Maybe they get it for cash value building purposes or ULs or stuff like that. But again, final expense insurance people get because they know that they're going to use it. It's not, not like homeowners or car insurance or anything like that. So in generating, final expense leads, we've talked about this before as well. There's two primary ways that we generate leads for final expense market. We generate leads through telemarketing, which we're going to talk primarily about today, and then also through direct mail, which we're going to kind of do a series of trainings over the next couple of weeks in the final expense, starting today with telemarketing and appointment setting. And with the final expense leads and with working and generating those, it's real important to know how to work the different type of leads. We have training about that goes into detail on that, but just kind of a quick recap. With final expense leads and telemarketing, since they were contacted by phone, of course it's okay for us to contact them by phone. Now with direct mail, the way to be most effective is to, of course, take that letter. That's an invitation that you've received to go see your client, is basically how we look at direct mail. When someone's taking the time to fill it out and mail it back, they're basically asking for someone to come see them and take care of that problem. So we look at direct mail as an invitation to go to the door. You go to the door, knock on the door. Hi, Mrs. Smith, I got the request that you made for your final expense benefits. I happen to be in the area. If you have a few minutes, I'd love to sit down with you, see if we could go over these benefits and see what we can possibly get you qualified for. Only take about 10 or 12 minutes. You mind if I come in? Just kind of reaching for the, and that's my script, that's my door knock script right there. I have that letter because ultimately once they see that letter in my hand, they remember the letter first of all, and then they see their handwriting, they'll remember filling it out and remember making that request. So that, of course, is the better way to handle direct mail leads. And now with telemarketing, again, we've reached out to them by phone, and there's a specific script that our telemarketers use. Now, it just so happens that script is pretty much identical between the two types of telemarketing leads we have. We have the telemarketing leads with live telemarketers primarily make those, and then we have the avatar leads, which are telemarketing leads. And real quick, the difference between the avatar and telemarketing. Basically, avatar leads are leads that are generated through a computer program that mimics a live telemarketer, is basically all they are. So when they contact the client does not know in most cases that they're talking to an avatar. They're responding accordingly, they're answering questions, they're confirming their favorite hobby or their favorite color. So you're getting pretty much the same things that you get with the live telemarketer. The understanding of that Jason's going to contact you about final expense life insurance in the next 24 to 48 hours. And your favorite color is blue or your favorite hobby is fishing. And so these people have that understanding. Now, of course, you get that recording, you can hear that conversation. I normally, when I get my leads, I'm immediately going to set appointments. Some agents like to sit down, listen to the recordings, maybe get a feel for the client before. In my mind, they made some kind of indication that they want final expense insurance, so I'm calling them immediately to set appointments. Now, in working the telemarketing leads and just kind of getting into that, the benefits of the telemarketing leads over direct mail is they do generate more quickly. In most cases, you're going to get your leads in 3 to 5 days. Here lately, we've had an abundance of orders in some cases, so sometimes it's taken 5 to 7 days or a little bit longer. But in most cases, you'll get them in about 3 to 5 days. Now, with the telemarketing leads and the fact that they were reached out to through a telemarketer, we mentioned the name of the agent. We all know that, right? We've all heard the recordings, the name of the agent that contacts them. It's an inexpensive lead marketing option. It's a great way to get in front of clients, without having to go out and necessarily put a large amount of money up for mail. Because right off the bat, mail takes a little bit longer to get the returns back. So some agents, we live in a world of instant gratification, right? A microwave mentality. We want things right away. So telemarketing leads help support that because, again, you can get them more quickly. Direct mail, that's more, I call that pipeline marketing, basically, because you have to fill up your pipeline, and at the other end, eventually, you're going to have leads dripping out. Now, the more mail you put out, the more leads you have that will come out. That makes sense, right? And so if you mail, 1 week, of course, we know that the return time is in between 2 to 3 weeks in most cases to get your return back for direct mail. So if you mail 1 week, 2 to 3 weeks later, you're going to start to get back leads. So the second week, you'll start to get some back. Within that, about 2.5 weeks, you'll get the bulk of your return back. And by the third week, you should have most of your return back. And so you'll be able to, again, work those leads, take them, go door knock. But what a lot of agents do is they have not already put out another mailing. So they've mailed, 2 or 3 weeks has gone by. They wait to get their leads before they fill up their marketing pipeline again. So by the time they make sales, you look at the timeline here. You mail, 2 to 3 weeks later, you get leads back. Then you finally go out and make sales, which if you're using Royal Neighbors, that we can do the sale in about 20 minutes over the phone, the application over the phone, and we can be paid very quickly within 48 hours. So you have that turnaround time, and if you're allocating your funds accordingly, some of y'all have heard the training that I've done before. When you get your commissions, you want to divide that. I always take, and this is kind of what I do now. When I first got started, the percentage that I set aside for my marketing dollars was a lot higher. But now I do 60, 20, 20. 60% is set aside to live on, operate on, run my life on. 20% is set aside for taxes and other 20 taxes, tithes, what have you. Other 20% is set aside for my marketing dollars. I always tell agents, don't eat your seed. So many agents in this business, they come in, they go out, they write an application, they get paid, and they spend all of their commissions off of the one application. Hey, if you have it like that, that's fine. But if you want to be smart about your business and you don't have it like that, then you want to, set up a savings account to do that with. You set aside the other. I have a couple of accounts, and with a couple of savings accounts that, I always make sure I have marketing dollars set aside, especially if you're in business. That's how, you have to have hamburgers at the hamburger stand if you want to sell. So you got to buy your meat, right? So we got to generate our marketing. We got to, put leads out. But kind of going back to, I just kind of wanted to give an overview between the difference as far as how you handle direct mail compared to telemarketing, and just the importance of that. Because again, if you try to call your direct mail leads like you can call telemarketing leads, you're going to take your close rate and you're going to cut it in half at minimum. Because right now, you'll notice on the screen here with telemarketing leads, we have an average close rate of about 10 to 30%. And that's what we get. So if you get 10 telemarketing leads, more than likely you should get about 5 appointments. And out of those 5 appointments, you're going to get 1 to 3 sales. Now, seasoned agents, you can see how seasoned agents who've been doing a little bit longer actually have a little bit higher close rate than that on telemarketing. But for the most part, know that that's what you're going to get for a close rate. So you're going to have some people that you call, oh, you know what, I've changed my mind, or I'm not interested anymore. Now, that's not to say that that lead is done, because I'll call that lead back 2, 3 weeks later and talk to them about final expense insurance, because life will change. Or maybe something happened when they hung up the phone with the telemarketer and they had to go take care of family or take a trip or whatever the case may be. Life happens for everybody. But knowing that your close rate is 10 to 30% is basically going to allow you to kind of determine how much income you want to make. So if I get 10 telemarketing leads and I close, let's say 1 out of 10, I've spent telemarketing lead cost is $16 per lead. Let's say we're not even, and keep in mind that this close rate also is just about the same close rate for the avatar leads, which are a little less expensive than telemarketing. But let's just say we're doing the telemarketing. So we get 10 telemarketing at $16 a piece, $160. We make one sale, $50 a month. You know, we know that the commission on that's around $300, a little over $300 actually. So we know that off of one sale, we're going to make a profit. We're going to make a return on investment. Now, with that one sale, do your 60, 20, 20, but work to get those other sales. So again, you're taking that 20% and you're setting that aside and you're investing in your, basically your seed money to generate more leads. Because y'all have heard me say this before, the man with the most leads wins. Now, that's why we work to teach you to be well-rounded agents, because there's so many different ways to generate clients. You know, big circle, little circle is a great way to just open people's eyes to what insurance can do for them. It's a phenomenal way to open people's eyes up. But ultimately, if someone has a specific need, and that's where our lead program comes into effect, you know, so you can generate business off of the big circle, little circle presentation, letting people know how you can protect their retirement, help their family, help them with living benefits, and of course the life insurance. And then you can target your markets with the lead program. Now, we also have leads in the IUL market. We can generate direct mail in the IUL market. I've talked about that before. But specifically, leads in final expense and mortgage protection. Now, what's great about these markets is the products issue quicker and they generate faster. Now, of course, your premium's a little bit less. That's something to keep in mind. You know, again, final expense, we know that average premium is about $50, $60 a month. We know mortgage protection, average premium is about $85 a month, sometimes a little bit more. And we know average premium in IUL markets a little over $150 a month on average. So, you know, if we have 1,000 policies come in for whichever market, and, you know, we take the monthly premium and divide it up, we're going to get that average premium for each market. It's been that way for years. Now, as far as generating telemarketing leads, data consists of 3 main factors. You got ages between 50 and 80. We know that. That's the senior market. Now, we can actually increase that up to 85. We can cover to 85. If you want to increase the, by doing that, that will increase the rate. It will help increase how much more quickly that they're generated, because basically you're adding more data to call on. Does that make sense? Because the more data you have to call on, the quicker they can generate. Incomes between 18 and 50,000. Again, we're dealing with the senior market. In most cases, seniors on fixed income who have not prepared for their final expenses. They have not put a plan in place. They do not have a nest egg. They do not have savings. They've helped their kids take care of things their whole life. They've, taken care of things their whole life, but they haven't been able to plan. And that's where it's a lot easier for that particular situation, for that family to afford $50, $60 a month, as opposed to their family that they've been having to help, or whatever the case may be throughout the years, have to come up with $5,000 just for a cremation, or $15,000 for a funeral. So, again, now also, this is important to know, telemarketing leads are generated by county, a little bit more spread out. And again, on the other hand, with direct mail, we can generate those by zip code. That's why we, recommend door knocking, because you're in one area. Your focus is more concise to, a smaller area. So one of the reasons, why do we generate telemarketing by county as opposed to zip code when we can generate direct mail? Well, that's because there's a thing called the do not call list. Unfortunately, we cannot call people. We cannot contact these people that are on the do not call list by phone. So we can only contact the people that are not on that do not call list. And with mail, there's not a do not mail list. So if they meet the demographics, we can mail to them. And the thing about the do not call list is that will kill about 50 to 60% of your data in any area, in any given area, in most cases. So, just understanding that, is pretty important. And we all know the leads are exclusive. Heck, in the recordings that you receive, we mention your name. But let me go back. I think I have the sound on here loud enough where we can hear this.
Okay, what's up, Alex? I'm calling to let you know of the new low-cost final expense insurance plan that is now approved in your state. This life insurance plan is designed to cover 100% of general expenses. Our local agent will call back in a couple of days and give you more information. Would you be interested in learning more about this low-cost life insurance plan? Do they cover smokers? I'm sorry, but that is okay. You see, this new plan is approved to cover everyone regardless of their health condition. Okay, yeah. Okay. When is the best time for the agent to call you back? Morning, afternoon, or evening? Afternoon. Okay. How old are you? 59. Okay. On average, if it's supposed to receive information of $5, $10, or $20,000 in coverage. 20. And if you do choose to take coverage, who would the benefits go to? All I need is the relationship, such as spouse, son, spouse. By the way, will this information of burial insurance be just for you or your spouse as well? I'm a spouse. Okay. How old is your spouse? 59. Just as a refresher of this call, when our agent calls you back, what is your favorite color? Purple. Okay. Mary, please.
I think it cut off there, but you can pretty much hear the most of the conversation, and again, a lot of agents, for whatever reason, and this happens, they'll generate leads and they'll get their leads and they'll wait to call. They'll find other things to do before they sit down and call the leads, for whatever reason. You see the illustration there. I don't know if they're scared of the phone, but I remember when I first got started in the insurance industry, the phone was not me. I wanted to be upfront. I wanted to talk to people. Just give me someone to talk. I don't want to do the phone work, but I had to come to a realization that the phone work had to be done in order to get to people. And, especially with the market that I was primarily focused on. And, I remember, just a quick story, I remember when I first got into, kind of made the transition into focusing on the final expense market. I was primarily working in the mortgage protection market. In mortgage protection, y'all have heard me say this before, I could sit down on Tuesday and Wednesday, with my stack of leads, and I could make my phone calls, and I would fill up my weekend, basically Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, rollover appointments for Sunday. And then that's how I ran my schedule, and I would do that almost every single week. And so there'd be, I'd be out of town, and or in town, and just depending on where, I controlled my marketing, but I'd have my, anywhere from 20 to 25 appointments every single week by just sitting down and making the phone calls, pounding out the phone. That's what I eventually learned was going to work for me. And so that's what I started to do, and that's, when I started to do a ton of business, just seeing a lot of clients, writing a lot of applications because I was doing the phone work. Now, when I made my transition into the final expense market and got my first stack of leads, what do you think that I did? And these were direct mail leads, mind you. I did. I took my direct mail leads because I had direct mail mortgage protection leads. It's a different market. It's a different way to handle your clients. But with the final expense leads, again, they're used to the insurance agent coming knocking at the door, collecting the insurance payment each month, or just working with them in that manner. So when I sat down and picked up the phone and started calling these leads, I wasn't getting any success, and I couldn't figure out. I was like, man, what's going on? I'd get some appointments here and there. I'd write a few applications throughout the week, but I was not doing my 15 to 20 applications a week like I was used to. And so I was just like, man, what's going on? So I went to the top producer, Chris Leisure. He was been the top producer, but mentioned his name, but anyway, he's been the top producer with Transamerica for many years. The man does over $25,000 a month in production. This is basically where I learned, this is, hard school right there of how to do final expense the right way. I was like, Chris, what's going on? Why am I not getting the results? I'm getting the amount of leads that I need. I know that I need enough leads, but why am I not getting the results that I'm expecting? He goes, well, what are you doing with it? What's going on? And I told him, I was like, yeah, well, I get my leads and I sit down and, just like I always do, I get ready to make my calls. And he goes, whoa, what do you mean make your calls? I go, yeah, I'm calling to set my appointments. He goes, you call them to set your appointment? And he just looked like he was talking to me like I was crazy, because what he had been doing was taking that lead and taking it to the door like it's an invitation. And that is the best way to handle it, because, again, people, when you show up at the door with that letter in hand, that they see their own handwriting, they're so welcoming. Oh, my gosh, I was wondering, who was going to contact me about that. People are so friendly in person compared to on the phone, where you get someone on the phone who I'm trying to make that connection of the letter that they filled out, and they're not really, making that connection because they're bombarded with marketing until they actually see their own handwriting. That's when they make the connection. But when I'm sitting there on the phone trying to make that connection, but on a direct mail lead, it wasn't happening. And that's what Chris told me. He's like, man, he goes, he called it the phone barrier. He goes, in final expense, the phone is not your friend. He goes, it's a phone barrier. In every other insurance market, the phone is your friend. But final expense, it's not. So that's why you handle your direct mail totally different than you handle your telemarketing leads. That's kind of why, I wanted to mention that story, because that's very important. Because if you go out and you think that you're going to generate, I'm going to place an order for some telemarketing leads. I got my mail going out. I'm going to go ahead and supplement my mail with some telemarketing leads. And, so I got my telemarketing. I'm just going to go ahead and sit down and call all these people and set up appointments. Well, you're going to take your close rate, which is consistently 40 to 50% for direct mail, and you're going to knock it down to a telemarketing close rate of 10 to 30% easily if you try to make phone calls with those. So just always keep that in mind. And now, again, that lead is costing you more to generate, right? Because it's a direct mail lead, because you're mailing out to the client. Because but what's great about that is the fact that we're all in that same boat together. Whenever someone does mail with Summit Alliance Advantage, we're covering the cost of that mail just like the agent is. Because if you go to any mail house, you'll find that they're charging anywhere from 56 cents to 62 cents per mailer, per postcard, to mail out, first-class mail. That's what they charge. We get a rate, our agents get a rate of 39 cents per mail for a couple of reasons. One, because we're covering some of the costs, and two, because we do so much mail, we get a bulk mail rate. So, again, take advantage of that type of marketing. That's very important. But understanding how to work the type of marketing and utilize the type of marketing in the market that you're working is very important just as well. So now, as far as setting appointments, something so simple is a very valuable tool, almost like your weekly goal sheet, right? Something so simple, but it's still very valuable. I see agents, they'll sit down with really nothing, and they'll go to set appointments. And without a calendar or without some kind of schedule in front of you, what times do you plan on seeing your clients? I sit down with this, and I have my times blocked off that I'm not available, and I have my times wide open that I am available. And so when I sit down to set my appointments, the message comes across differently to my clients because I'm setting the appointment. My client's not setting the appointment with me. Does that make sense? That can be very important because that gives you control immediately. Because when the client sets the appointment with you, you're not in control anymore. They're probably not going to be there. You're probably going to get no-showed because they can set the appointment with you another time, right? But when you set it with them, they want to fulfill that obligation. It seems minute, but it's a different mentality. So by what I call being schedule ready, before you pick up the phone, know the times that you're going to fit your clients into your schedule. Mrs. Smith, I got a time available Thursday evening. I'm filled up till the evening, probably about 5 o'clock, or maybe I could make you my first appointment Friday morning at 8 o'clock. Which one of those times will work best for you? Oh, well, Jason, we actually got some things to do, or we'll be working, or we won't be. Oh, you know what? Not a problem. The good thing is I'm going to be in your area all week long. As a matter of fact, throughout the weekend. So how about Saturday afternoon, maybe 3, or maybe Saturday at 9? Which one of those times will work best for you? Now, you can see how, they gave me an objection, and we'll get into the appointment setting script here shortly. But basically what I'm doing, I overcome the objection. I immediately give them 2 options. And I give them 2 options because they're going to pick one. Because if I call them, it's just like me calling the client and saying, hey, Mrs. Smith, I got the request you made for your final expense benefits. I'm going to be in your area, this weekend. When would be a good time for me to come see you? What do you think they're going to say? Never. Well, you know what? Oh, never mind. Or there's no good time. I'm so busy. But if I just change in how I ask that, Mrs. Smith, I'm going to be in your area this Friday and Saturday. I have some times available Friday afternoon at 6 o'clock or maybe Saturday morning at 9. Which one of those times would work best for you? Totally different, right? So you can see how the response is going to be totally different. But having this in front of you is going to help you control your time frame. It's going to help you control your schedule. It's something so simple, but it just make sure you implement it. Yeah, you'll notice I have it, and this is just something I made up. I just made this. You can make your own form. You can use your own schedule. You can use this one. It's available in the back office. But you'll notice I have state, county, and date in the weekly schedule 4. Because I would go to my different areas, what I call honey holes. The man with the most leads wins, right? So if you go to an area where there happens to be an abundance of leads, you're probably going to have better production. So that's why I chose to travel, because there's areas that just you can generate leads a lot easier. Now, again, before you sit down and set your appointments, also another thing that you want to do to help you become schedule ready, make sure you're first off that you have the time set aside to set your appointments. Don't sit down, call 2 leads, and I got to do this real quick, because that will take 2 or 3 hours, and you come back and you've missed probably the next 4 or 5 people. That was the time that they were home, and you didn't call through your leads completely. And that happens. I see agents do it all the time. Hey Jesse, you got your leads in yesterday, man. How many appointments you have set up so far? Oh man, I had to take the dog to the vet and do a little bit of things around the house, and we're probably going to be doing this on Thursday, and so I'll probably just maybe call them Friday, because I got them Tuesday. I'm talking to them on Wednesday, and they're planning on not calling them till Friday. Now, what do you think the problem is with that? You're missing. They're going to go cold. One of the biggest reasons is your client has already been told by the Senior Benefits Care Center that an agent will be in contact with you in the next 24 to 48 hours. So 24 to 48 hours goes by, the agent doesn't contact him because he had to take the dog to the vet and he had some other things to do. It went cold. So, that's important. Another thing, to be schedule ready, smile before you call. Make sure you're in a decent mood. Because would everyone here agree that your feelings can transfer through the phone, that people can hear your emotion through the phone, they can hear the tone in your voice, the sound in your voice? So if you call someone and you're not in the best appointment setting mood, they're probably going to sense that. So that's probably another factor that's going to factor in reducing the amount of appointments that you could have gotten. And what if it prevents you from getting the appointment with the person that was going to write the $200 check to protect their family? It could happen. So, again, just those few things, keep that in mind. Just be ready, and also be friendly. Be conversational. Yes, we have a script, which we're about to get into, but don't be scripted. The script is just simply a guide, and we'll talk about some of the points here. I have some of them highlighted. Real quick, hi, may I speak to Bertha? Hi, Bertha. The reason for my call, you just spoke to our representative at the Senior Care Center about your final expense benefits. You indicated that your favorite color was blue. Now, why do you think that I highlight those first few things right away? Exactly. They've heard the telemarketer say, "Hi, Mrs. Smith. This is Jill at the Senior Care Center," right? So they've heard Senior Care Center. They've heard Final Expense Benefits. The new Final Expense Benefits program available in your area, right? We heard that on the call. They've heard that. What is your favorite color, right? We heard that. Now, the reason we get this out right away is because when you call someone, what's the first thing that people think when they see a number come on their phone that they don't recognize? Telemarketer, who is this? It's not my son, daughter, mother, husband, wife, kids. I don't want to answer it, right? They don't want to answer it. So if they do answer it, what do you think they're trying to do? Get you off the phone, right? Trying to get off the phone. Okay, I'm just going to check. See, oh, well, it's not who I wanted it to be. I'm going to get off this phone. No, I'm not interested. Bye. But if you immediately identify why you're calling and you overcome the "I'm not a telemarketer" objection that's already there before they pick up the phone, again, that's going to help you get the appointment. Just imagine you have Agent A who sits there. "Hi, Jill. I'm contacting you. You had made a request about, Final Expense Benefits or whatever the case." They're not real quick. Do you remember that? The program not covered by the U.S. government or something like that. They may not recognize that. They may not set the appointment with that person because they may think that they're a telemarketer trying to sell them something else than what they originally contacted about. And that happens all the time. So an agent contacts them and they don't really identify the right things, and that client thinks they're a telemarketer, that potential sale just goes out the window for really no reason at all, just because the connection wasn't made. So that's important. So you want to immediately overcome that "I'm not a telemarketer" objection. You want to immediately remind them why you're calling. "Okay, great. This is Jason. I've been assigned to your file. I'm going to be in your area this Friday and Saturday. I only need a few minutes, 10 to 12 minutes to go over this with you. Would Friday at 3 o'clock work well for you, or maybe Saturday at 10? Which would work best for you?" Again, I'm always giving them an option. That's why that's highlighted. Also, I only need about 10 to 12 minutes. Why do you think that I say that? That's right. Most people think that, oh gosh, insurance appointment? What? No. Because they're thinking 4 or 5 hours. They don't want to spend all day with the insurance person. But if you let them know, you have set times available, and I can only need about 10 to 12 minutes, we can see what we can get you qualified for, which would work best. I mean, again, you're leading them through the process, right? We're in control. We're in control of our schedule. We're in control of the products we're going to provide for our clients. We're in control of meeting our clients' needs. We're in control of setting the appointment. So in order to do all of the above, we have to get to the kitchen table. So this, again, you have to just make sure, and people, they want to, set an appointment with someone who is confident, right? They want to set an appointment with someone who is friendly. So by smiling, by being schedule ready, by knowing what times are available, all of this adds up to an appointment. So just, again, that's real important. Keep that in mind. Be friendly. Smile. Smile and dial. You've heard me say that before. Now, this is important also. You want to solidify the appointment by painting a mental visual of your arrival. This helps the client remember you're coming, reducing the amount of no-shows. Simple ways to do this. Okay, of course, you confirm their address. I have your address at, 1124 Preston Road. Is this correct? Yes, it's correct. Okay, great. Two of the things that I like to say, okay, great, when I'm driving down your street, will I find the address on the side of the house, on the mailbox, or on the curb? Well, you'll see it on the side of the house. Okay, great. By the way, what color is your house that I'm looking for? And I ask them, those are the two that I like to ask. I mean, you can ask them, is the house going to be on the right or the left-hand side as I'm coming down your street? That's why I highlighted, what color is your house and where's your mailbox? You can mention, well, I'll be driving a black Toyota Camry, whatever the case may be. Or, what color, what kind of car will be in the driveway? Just something to jog their memory, paint that little bit of a picture of you pulling up, looking for their the number on the side of the house or on the curb, pulling up, looking for what color their house is, because they're going to think about this when they tell you. That way, when they hang up the phone and life happens, they get another phone call from a family member that needs to borrow some money or whatever, or the fridge goes or whatever, something happens, they're more likely going to remember that appointment. So, have them take note of it. I've done certain things. I've gone as far as, oh my gosh, my calendar on my computer just crashed here. What time was that we set up the appointment for? At the end of the call. Stuff like this. I mean, you can do little things like that, but solidify the appointment because, again, that's going to help safeguard your time. That's going to help, ensure that the client is there. And again, although I've gone through the script, that's the script. It's available in the back office. Don't sound scripted. Sound friendly. Go through it. Remember the bullet points. Remember that you want to cover. You want to mention senior care center final expense and their favorite color. Know that you want to talk to them about that. Because you may get someone say, well, what is this about? Because maybe you flew through the first line too fast. In most cases, you won't get this if you're identifying the right things with them, the senior care center, final expense, their favorite color. But for whatever reason, maybe they not recalling that right away. Well, remember you spoke to, I think her name was Lisa, or you spoke to one of our representatives at the senior care center, and you indicated that your favorite color was blue. This was just yesterday, or maybe it was Monday. Oh, yeah, that's right. Again, just jog their memory. They're going to remember. And if they don't remember, then you don't have the right person on the phone. Well, you know what? Maybe this was your wife that spoke to it. It says here the person to reach out to is Jill. Or maybe this is your husband or something like that. Or maybe your daughter spoke to him or something. But try to get the person on the phone whose name because when you get that lead, you're gonna have the name of the person. You're gonna have the name of the client that had the interest in final expense. So you want to get that person on the phone. But more than likely, again, if you're saying the right things, if you're identifying the right things right away, they're not thinking of you as a telemarketer, and they're going to be able to set that appointment with you right away. I don't want to see anyone. I understand. But, we see so many people. We see about 10 to 15 people every day. And, some people may be reluctant to see us, but we're able to get most people taken care of and make sure it fits in their budget. I'll be in your area this Friday and Saturday. Only need about 10 to 12 minutes of your time to see if we can get you qualified. Would Friday at 2 work, or maybe Saturday at 11 o'clock? Again, overcome the objection and immediately give them 2 times. So, again, you can, because you don't want to get into the back and forth with your client. You want to avoid that. So you just overcome the objection, and you don't want to give them the opportunity to give you another objection. So by giving them the options, again, more than likely they're going to pick one of those times. Well, can I just get a quote? I'd love to give you a quote over the phone. Believe me, that would make my job a lot easier. But I am obligated as a field underwriter. I do have to come see you and verify, you're not on oxygen or in hospice or anything. It'll only take 10 to 15 minutes. Would Saturday at 10 o'clock work well, or maybe Saturday afternoon at 2 after I have a couple appointments at 10 and 11. So maybe Saturday at 2, would that work for you? Again, overcome the objection and give them an option. So you can see basically the point to overcoming objections is after you overcome the objection, make sure you give them 2 options, because people are more than likely going to pick. Again, we're leading them through the process. They're more than likely going to pick one of those options, because if people were going to get the final expense insurance in the first place, they would have already went out and been proactive, and they would have done it, and they would have taken care of that, right? But they know they need it. They just haven't been proactive to take care of it. So what does that mean? They need us as the agent to lead them through the process, right? That's basically it. You got some people. You think of this, whenever a lead is generated, you got really 3 types of leads. You got one that just generated to get the person off, to get the telemarketer off the phone, or maybe they filled it out for whatever reason, maybe they changed their mind, whatever happened, that happens. You got one person that really wants it, so no matter what you do, no matter what you say, a dog with a note in his mouth could make the sale, right? And then you got another person who is just what we described. They want the coverage. Someone reached out to them. They thought it was a good idea. They haven't been quite proactive to take care of it themselves, so now they need us to lead them through the process and help them take care of that, because they know they need it. The need is there. We just have to help them fill that need. And again, they need someone who's confident. They need someone who's going to lead them through the process. They need someone who's friendly, who's going to smile, and who has their best interest at heart. Y'all heard me say that, because people want to work with people that actually care. People, if they're dealing with someone and they sense that this person's just here to upsell me, well, how about, are you sure you don't need disability? How about critical illness? Oh, you got to get that. Again, you meet the need of the client, you identify the need, you meet the need, and you're sincere, and you work with your client like you would work with your own family, and that will take you so far in this business. You won't even, it really will, because you don't know how many times, y'all have heard me say this before, clients buy the agent. They don't buy the carrier or the company. They entrust in the person that's sitting next to them or with them at the kitchen table to help them with this process, especially if that person's confident and knows what they're doing, or has the resources to reach out to get that client's needs taken care of. Just, we have a lot of new agents out in the field, but we also have a lot of agents that are taking advantage of that resource. That's a great question, Mr. Client. Let me call a product specialist. We can take care of that for you, no problem. Let me call a product specialist. Let me call my field marketing team. Let me call a field underwriter. Let's make sure, we're doing what's best for your family. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? We've heard that before. That's so true. Again, door knocking is the best approach with direct mail. Just briefly, I wanted to throw this in here. We talked a lot about setting the appointment, because basically these are the ways to get to the kitchen table, right? Sales made at the kitchen table. We can all agree at that. You're either going to get there through telemarketing leads and picking up the phone and calling them, or through direct mail, putting out the mail, putting out the marketing, getting the responses back, and going to see them. That's how you get to the kitchen table. And again, y'all have heard my script. Basically, door knocking, the best approach with direct mail. I've said that time again, some of the reasons why it increases your chance of closing. We've kind of gone over that a little bit, because when people see you in person, they're more friendly. When people see that letter in your hand, they immediately recognize that, oh, I made that request. I'm so glad you're here, as opposed to a telemarketer trying to overcome that. Again, people are so friendly. People, it's the big man behind the keyboard syndrome, right? When the person on the phone, oh, don't call me no more. Click. It could be the nicest person when you go see them, but on the phone, don't call me. I don't want it. We're not buying anything. Click. So again, people are very nice in person. They're not going to write you off as a telemarketer. Just knowing that, and always think of the direct mail as a handwritten invitation for you to come see them, because that's what it is. They filled it out because they had a need in mind, and they mailed it for someone to come take care of that for them. And basically, y'all heard me say this at the beginning, but that's it. I take the letter, knock at the door. Hi, Mrs. Smith, I have the request that you made for your final expense benefits. I happen to be in the area. If you got about 10 or 15 minutes, I'd love to sit down with you and see if we can get this taken care of. You mind if I come in? And I'll wipe my feet, reach into that action right there is important just as well. Kind of wipe your feet, kind of leaning towards the door, reaching towards the screen door, reaching towards the door. Or, you mind if I come in? Holding up the letter. Again, one of three things basically will happen. They're going to let you in. Sure, come on in. Need anything to drink? I'm glad you came. I've been needing to get this taken care of. Whatever the case, you'll be surprised. They'll feed you. They'll send you home with stuff. I got plants, trees. I got century plants that went crazy in my garden. I didn't realize what they would do when she gave them to me, but she did, and I've had fresh garden meals that were totally, they had the chickens, they grew the tomatoes, the bell peppers, everything. So you'll run into some great people. You'll meet some really great people. But the key is just to get out there and do it. Get out there and be friendly. Get out there and knock on the door. Go see your leads. First, generate your lead, and then go see it. And when you knock at the door, they may say something like, well, now's not a good time. And what I do here, I don't set up a specific time for later. Okay, well, when would be a good time for me to come by? Or should I come by tomorrow at 11 o'clock or maybe Friday at 10? I don't do that at all. I'll do that on the phone. But when I'm door knocking my direct mail, I already know that I'm going to be I'm working these zip codes. That's my area. That's my honey hole, right? That's where I'll generate leads in. That's where I'm going to consistently market to. That's where I'm going to consistently get my returns. So I know I'm going to be back in that area. So I set a soft appointment. Oh, not a problem, Ms. Smith. I'm always in the area taking care of clients. As a matter of fact, I got to come back Saturday and deliver a policy for the Robinsons. So how about maybe Saturday afternoon I'll stop by? You think both you and your husband will be here? Sure, sure. Okay, great. Saturday afternoon. It's not a set time. So, again, just, or they may say, well, now's not a good time. Great, not a problem. I'm always in the area. I'll stop by another time. Again, another soft set, not a specific time. So, you know, just kind of, again, kind of going back on to how I started. Understanding the differences of telemarketing and direct mail, how to effectively work each, because if you're calling your direct mail leads, we all know you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. But if you're calling telemarketing, that's fine because they've been reached out to by phone. You know, knowing how to set the appointment. Real quick, what we'll do, we'll run through the appointment with a volunteer or two who wants to set up some appointments. Ray, you look like you want to set. Malcolm, Rick, Robert. You got one? Okay. I'll be the client. I'll ring and answer. Hello, ring.
Hi, may I speak to Jason, please?
Yeah, this is Jason.
Hi, Jason. This is Robert. And the reason why I called, we spoke to you recently about the senior care center, from our senior care center about the pilot experience benefit, and you indicated your favorite color is blue.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, she just called me yesterday. Okay.
Yes, and I will apply to your file, so I will be in your area this Friday or Saturday. And I'll only need about 10 minutes to see if we can get you qualified. Which day will work best for you?
Well, I get probably Saturday. I work Friday, so Saturday may be a better day for me.
And that's great. Saturday, so it's 10 a.m. or 2 work for you better?
The earlier the better, so Saturday at 10. Sounds good.
Okay, great. Well, definitely put down 10 a.m. for you. And let me make sure I got the correct address. It's 1124 Evergreen Drive. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's my address.
And tell me this, I'm coming east down your highway, down your street. What happens to your house on the right or left?
It'll be on the right-hand side.
Is the address on the curb or mailbox or out of your house?
You'll see it right next to the door.
And what color is your house?
It's just a little white frame house.
Great. I'm sure I can find that. And well, I'll tell you what we'll do is see you at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Is that good for you again, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great. So I'll just see you there, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know, give me a hand. Basically it was conversational almost. You know, it wasn't as scripted. You know, there are a couple of things but you can see how you do that a few times. Next thing you know.
What was a couple of things?
Well, just as far as at the end when he went back to reconfirm you've already confirmed the address. So at that point, and I think you knew that right when you said that, and the time, the time of the appointment, because he first confirmed it on the first part. So Saturday at 10, I said Saturday morning, earlier Saturday would be great, and then at the end he goes, okay, so he confirmed my address. Where will your address be, and will your house be on the right or left? And I told him, and then he confirmed the time again. So he confirmed it already before he confirmed.
I thought that you said that because your thing was you said, oh, you know, my computer went.
Right, and you can do that, yeah.
So I thought you want to confirm the time again. You're saying no, don't do that.
No, you can do it either way. As if you want to utilize my computer went down thing, because that's just to kind of help solidify the appointment more.
Yeah.
But initially, you've already confirmed the time.
Yeah.
So once you've confirmed the time, you mainly just want to paint the mental picture of your arrival.
Yeah.
And then.
But that was on the script. The last part said 10:30. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, because you're letting them know. You're not asking them.
Oh, you're telling them.
Yeah. Okay, great. I'll see you Saturday at 10.
As opposed to.
Okay, we said Saturday at 10 would work for you. Yeah, because you're giving them the opportunity again to, well, you know what? So that's kind of why. Right, exactly. More of a statement of confirmation. Yeah. Yeah, so that really is the only thing. Everything else was great. You know, you were. Exactly. So, but I mean, little things like that make a difference. And you know, with that, we'll do some more. Who wants to? You want to try? Go for it. Okay. Ring, ring. Hello.
Hello, it's Jason.
Yeah, this is Jason speaking.
Hello, Jason. I recently got your information from the senior care.
Ring, ring. Hello.
Hello, may I speak to Jason?
This is Jason.
Hi, Jason. This is from my call. I spoke to the representative at our senior care center, so I can find out expense benefits and indicate your credit card is good.
Yeah, that's right.
My name is Malcolm, and I'm trying to install and move in your area Friday or Saturday around 10 a.m. or 6 p.m. I only need about 10 to 12 minutes of time to see if you qualify. Which day will work best for you?
Probably Saturday would work better for me.
Okay, great. So I'll see you Saturday 6 p.m.
Yeah, Saturday at 6 would work.
So I have your address at 1124 Evergreen Drive. Is your address going to be posted on the mailbox side of your house or
You'll actually find it right on the mailbox out front.
right in the mailbox? All right. What's all this house, by the way?
It's a little red brick house. Yes.
I will be seeing you 10:30. I mean, not 10:30, 6 p.m. on Saturday.
There you go. Okay, thank you. And you know, of course, I didn't have the second part of the script up, but you know, for the most part, you kept control of the conversation. You identified immediately when you first called, so you know I knew it wasn't a telemarketing call. You know, you confirmed, you painted the picture, asked the questions. I mean, really, you know, good appointment set. So, hey, give him a hand. Yeah, I mean, cause for the most part, you know, you want to be quick on the phone just like you were, because if you're long on the phone and you know, taking a lot of time to set the appointment, then they're going to think that the appointment's going to take a long time. You know, everything is, you know, really short and sweet with the client and effective. And that's, you know, mainly what we want to get to. So, what's that?
Did you do a challenging?
No, I haven't done an objection yet.
Last one, yeah, we have time.
Throw an objection in there? All right, let's give him a struggle. You ready for it? All right. Ring, ring. Hello? Yeah, this is Jason speaking. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
This is Malcolm, and I'm going to sign to your file, and I will be in your area Friday or Saturday around 10 a.m. or 6 p.m. And I will need about 10 to 12 minutes of time.
Well, hold on. What do you mean in my area? You have to come out to my house to see me?
Definitely, yeah. I have to be at the age, I have to be qualified. I have to be in person. Yeah, that's all right.
You can say something like this. We'll go ahead and interject here. With you know, if you have someone that's I don't just why do you have to come out to my house to see me? You know, well, boom. As a field and you can say this, you know, as a field underwriter, I have to verify, you know, that you're not on oxygen or in hospice care or anything. Again, it'll only take 10 to 15 minutes. And the reason I follow up with that is because I'm reminding them it's not going to take very long. And then I follow up with the times that are available. Because when most people give you an objection, they think of an agent coming out to their house. Maybe it hadn't settled in quite yet that it's only going to be a short period of time. And, you know, so, but, you know, right at the beginning, speaking with that that's perfect. You know, you were started off solid, but it wasn't until you got the objection that kind of threw you off a little bit. But once you know how to overcome that objection, that confidence will be right there. And so just as you started it off with the confidence, you'll overcome that objection with confidence. And so the next time someone gives you that objection, you're in control still, and you've gotten that appointment. So you see how that can just work and how you can just easily take over, lead the client through the process. So just know that if someone says, well, gosh, you have to come out to my house to see me, not a problem. Most people, they don't want anyone at their home. I can definitely understand. Get friendly with them. Talk to them just like you would if, someone was calling you or something to set an appointment. Or just almost as if you were calling, someone that you knew. Be real friendly with them. Talk to them, not a problem. Only take 10 or 15 minutes. And the only reason I have to come out is so we could as a field underwriter, I have to verify that you're not on oxygen or in hospice care or anything. Again, it'll be real short, 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll see if we can get you qualified. Would Saturday at 10 work better for you, or maybe Friday afternoon after you get off work, maybe 6?
And the reason why I get to do that kind of scenario, that's more realistic, right? Okay? Because, first insurance work kind of gigs, right? My very first phone call, my first time I ever worked with lease ever, my first phone call I had from a lead, no jokes, just went to the lead, I was looking at the phone, called the number, the phone weighed 10,000 pounds, I was like nervous, I was pretty much script. Phone ring, no joke, had a guy answer. What do you want? He's out there on the stick somewhere, man. What do you want? I'm like, right? Somehow I envisioned it in my head. It's like we're sitting here, we have some gidget. But the reality is, what do you want? I'm like, wow. You forget all that. If someone answers the phone that way, you're like, it kind of throws you off. This is hell in there. And then it could be like, hold on. She's like, who is it? I get all them back. Who is it? Who is this? This is Ray. It's Ray. Like this is all,
Well, who's Ray? What does he want?
Honestly, came on. Went out there. I sold it. But the reality is, you're going to have hang-ups on you. You're going to have people treat you like crap. That's just part of the deal.
Yeah, you heard me say that's why I'm so big on, hey, utilize direct mail because people are so friendly in person. Over the phone, they're tough. People are a lot tougher over the phone than they are in person. You want to run at it? Okay, we'll we'll do it again. All right. I just spent $45 for you. Hang up on me?
But the reality is just, we go through the role playing here, and it's good that we're doing this. But the reality is, not everybody is going to be all pink roses and bubble gum. It's just going to be you're dealing with some personality. But Jeff is absolutely right. On the phone, they make it sound one way, but in person, you go see them. They're like older in person. On the phone, you're just terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's it's funny how it works. But we'll do it one more time with the objection in there. Ring, hello. Yeah, this is Jason speaking.
The senior care center have a family expense benefits and indicated for credit card group.
Yeah, that's right. I just talked to him yesterday.
I just Sunday is following on. We'll be in your area Friday or Saturday. Only need about 10 to 12 weeks to kind of see if you can qualify. Which day will work best for you?
Oh gosh, you gotta come out to see me.
Yeah, I know. I understand all of that. If you're underwriting age, I do have to come to see that you're not an oxygen or an oxygen to verify. Which day would work best for you again? Friday or Saturday?
You have to. Okay, probably. I guess Saturday if you have to come see me.
So let's say Saturday at 6 p.m.
Saturday. Can you have anything any earlier than that?
I have 10 p.m. if you'd like to do that.
Okay, that'll work. Yeah, I like earlier better. Thank you.
All right. So let me verify your address. It was 1112 Evergreen Drive.
That's correct, yes.
So I'm coming from the highway. Is it going to be on the left or the right side?
You'll coming from, okay, yeah, if you're coming from the highway, it'll be on the left-hand side.
The left-hand side. What color is your house again?
It's just a little red brick house.
Red brick house. Where will the address be? Mailbox or house?
Oh, okay, yeah, you'll see it right on the mailbox out front.
I'll see you again 10 o'clock Saturday.
Yeah, 10 o'clock Saturday. Okay. There you go. Yeah, you did right. You caught yourself at the end, and you would have finished it off probably a lot more friendly if you wouldn't have had the little confirmation of the time as opposed to just the statement of time. And but hey, everything else. But you noticed how when I gave you the objection, the confidence was right there because you knew how to handle it. And ultimately, in appointment setting, you're going to have 3 or 4 main objections. If you become good at overcoming those 3 or 4 main objections, you're good. That's it, because there's not anything else that people are going to say. Oh, well, I don't want you to come see me, or can you just give me a price over the phone? I mean, and then really, well, never mind. That one, hey, not much to do. That's why we only close 1 to 3 out of 10. But each one of those, we want to make sure you can actually increase that close rate by just taking the little steps or saying something different, or being, maybe you were the friendly agent that contacted the client as opposed to the robotic agent that was scripted that contacted the client. No one wants to sit down with the robotic agent, right? They want to sit down with the friendly agent, the confident agent. So just, try to portray that in your message as you talk to the client. And that will take you so much more further. That will get you in so many more homes. As soon as you're in the homes, that's when everything else can happen. So, yes.
And I'm like, I need help. This is not for me. The cold calling, the telemarketing lead, it's a friendlier approach to me simply because they're expecting you. When you say, hey, you talk to someone in our senior care or the senior care center, they're like, oh yeah, and when you start mentioning their favorite color, they're like, oh yeah, I remember. So it's like when you go out to the home, they're actually expecting you, whereas when you're door knocking, people are like, now's not a good time, or it's that awkwardness that I haven't learned to overcome yet when you're out door knocking versus when you call and they expect you. And I actually did a cold call on a lady, and she says she had dialysis. She was on kidney dialysis or something like that. And I was like, well, we have a policy that will cover you. And she's like, no, you have to be mine. I spent on the phone about 15 minutes trying to convince her that I had a policy. I'm like, you want me to call the insurance carrier just to verify? And she's like, no. And all of that to say, she was a cold call, and she was just like, well, don't even worry about it. I'm okay, and I'm fine. But she was more trying to make me a liar in this case because she just didn't believe we could cover it.
Didn't believe, yeah. But that's the kind of thing that, when someone has something set in their mind, try to avoid the back, because ultimately you're not going to change someone's mind like that.
I almost got her to change her mind.
You're like, I almost did magic. Hey, let me ask you. You said that the results as far as door knocking were not. Were you door knocking direct mail?
No.
Okay, that maybe why? Because when you door knock with direct mail, because we don't recommend just necessarily just cold door knocking. But when you door knock with the direct mail, actually what they filled out and sent back, that's where you're going to get the receptiveness, because someone sees the letter they filled out, they see their handwriting, oh my God, I was wondering who's going to contact me. So that's where you'll get just totally different results. So I'm glad I asked as to the situation of the door knocking, because that makes sense now, because I was like, why would they? Okay, cool deal.
Real quickly, in closing, we're going to start here in a second, is, with the leads, people get leads, and these are, remember, these are important, they're tools, right? So, with tools, you just can't, you don't use the tool just one time, right? Okay, so we have leads. Sometimes the leads are come in an abundant amount, sometimes they come in a little bit amount. But just because you order one set of leads, and you may have a great experience, you may not have a good experience. But just because you have one order lead doesn't mean like, okay, well, I did it, I tried it. The name of the game why people are successful in this business is they're constantly on a lead flow. They got leads coming in. And imagine if you're able to sit there and then also get like leads the next week, this week, and before, and all of a sudden you're making appointments, the people that you're talking to from these leads are coming in, right, calling in. But also those that didn't answer the phone last few weeks. So now you're spending, a good part of your morning or the afternoon calling people doing this. So the more times you're doing this, the more time you can get in front of people. And you can't expect you doing this with only one set of leads. See what I'm saying? So you got to be constantly getting leads all the time.
And that goes hand in hand with what I said earlier, your marketing pipeline. You have to fill up your lead pipeline. You put marketing out, you're going to have leads come out the other end, and out of the other end comes leads, comes production. And, I mean, that all goes hand in hand. So, absolutely. Great statement there. So, we're closing training today. We're going to go ahead and get started. I want to thank everyone for attending. And sorry for going over.